Lawson here with CU Broadcast. Welcome back to our continued coverage of the 2025 California, Nevada, Utah Credit Union League's REACH Conference here in beautiful Palm Desert, California. We are closing it out with the fine folks from Quinte Financial Technologies, and right next to me we have Mr. Rob Woellhaf.
Yep.
Rob, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much, Mike.
Nice to see you. And then right next to Rob over there is Ankit Singh. Ankit, how are you, sir?
Very well, thank you.
How are things going on? How are things down there?
Very good, very good. Enjoying the desert.
It's a big table.
Yeah.
But it fits well. I mean, for three folks here, it's perfect. So, yeah. So before we dive into the topic, we're talking about the changing fraud landscape, and that is an understatement, as you guys well know. But how did the conference go for you? Because we're wrapping it up today. So, Rob, you want to start out with maybe a highlight or two?
Yeah, this is the first time that Utah credit unions have been involved. So I saw a lot of familiar faces from the Utah Credit Union space, and it's been my first experience here. So it's really just always great to get together with like-minded people that believe in the credit union cause of people helping people, and so it's really just energizing to just see so many people invested in that mission. So from that standpoint, it's a huge win.
Yeah, and the vendor hall or the exhibit hall in there was really, really busy. From the times that I went in there, it was kind of a packed house. So I think you guys probably had lots of visitors as well. So that's always a good thing. So,
thank you.
Ankit, how about you? Any highlights or any feedback to share from this year's REACH conference?
No, I enjoyed every part of it. I think specifically the pitch was very interesting.
I love the pitch. That was fun.
And I think Latrice won from Connector, and it was really nice.
She was my very first interview. My first interview won. Now you guys are closing it out. Nice turn of events there. I apologize for interrupting.
No. So it was exciting, and then some very good sessions. I remember the Banking for Change session was very, very exciting to see how cool he could just create music. I know. Out of that technology with AI. So it was interesting.
Yeah, and it was nice to hear, a more positive, approach to AI, and how even with AI, the human element is essential, and collaborating with AI is. So that I thought that was a very inspiring message. As well.
Indeed, which we might get into a little bit here with fraud, because unfortunately the bad guys are using AI, so that means the good guys got to use AI, and we have this good versus bad.
It's a little bit of an arms race right now.
Gosh, it's crazy what you guys have to deal with. Thank you. Just a big proactive thank you for it. So, Rob, let's start out with you. So, you've been in this fight for decades, obviously. So, can you paint a picture of how fraudsters are adapting today versus 5 or 10 years ago? I mean, how times have changed in this area.
Yeah, fraud is constantly evolving. It's accelerating. Certainly with any technology that can be used for good can be used for nefarious purposes, and we're seeing that as well. We're seeing a lot of organized schemes, increasingly sophisticated digital attacks, and a lot of focus on exploiting the speed of payments. So really anything that's convenient for a consumer is going to be convenient for a fraudster.
I knew you were going there.
So, we talked about the arms race. It's a cat and mouse game. It's an arms race. It's if you're in the fraud space, there's really no chance really to stop and take a breath, let alone rest on your laurels.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a 24/7 job. And what's the saying? I mean, you guys have to be right every time, but the fraudster only has to be right one time. I think that's the saying. So
right. And it's a balance. It's a balancing game, because you can. One of the things that I frequently will tell my clients is, stopping fraud is easy. It's a very simple thing to stop fraud. You add enough friction to the process, and you will stop fraud. You stop doing transactions, you stop opening accounts, you stop serving your members, you will stop the fraud.
Yeah.
You won't have any other business to do either, but the fraud will stop.
You'll probably stop business too.
You stop business, you stop fraud. But that's not what anybody wants.
Right.
And even as a fraud professional, that's not what I want.
Right.
I want the businesses, I want my clients, I want credit unions to be successful in helping people, and so it's a constant balancing act. It's a moving target, and so that's where that's where you can't become complacent.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, this is one area where you cannot be complacent. So second question for you, and Ankit, I promise I'll get to you on the third question here. Thank you for your patience, sir. So the challenge just isn't, bigger losses. It's the speed and sophistication, as we talked about, equals to convenience we were talking about. So how does that impact fraud teams on the ground with this, speed and sophistication that's going on out there right now?
Well, it's really exhausting because it is a 24/7 job, and the real challenge is with volume and scale. And so as a fraud professional, trying to sift through the mountain of alerts that you get, and many of which are false positives, and so it's not uncommon for systems to have a false positive ratio of 50 to 1, meaning that you've got to look at 50 alerts before you find one. So it's not so much you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You're trying to find a needle in a stack of needles, because you're really sifting through all of these transactional information. And so from that perspective, it can be very exhausting to try to, find the right things, use the finite amount of resources that we have in an effective way.
Isn't that where the AI would kick in as well? Because it's a numbers game, it sounds like, and and the higher those numbers get, the harder it is for a human to keep track of all that type of stuff. So now the AI has to kick in, right?
Certainly AI, and AI is a very like fraud. Fraud is this broad term that gets applied to everything.
I hear you.
AI is a broad term that gets applied to a lot of things, and so as a fraud professional, it's not so much that you need AI, it's that you need the right AI applied
or
at the
whatever
right
tool,
time.
Whatever specific tool,
at the right, and also, not falling asleep on the traditional just rules-based tools, because there are, regardless of what the model says, there will always be transactions where you want to look at it. You want to get human eyes on it.
Oh, for sure.
And so even though sophisticated tools are important, that doesn't mean that you can ignore things like limits and traditional controls that we've used. It's a balance. It's a balance between convenience and security. It's a balance between old and new. And that's where it can be fatiguing to keep all of these balls in the air.
I can't even imagine. All right, Ankit, thank you for your patience, sir. We're bringing you in here. So from your vantage point, working with credit unions across the nation, what are you hearing about their biggest fraud challenges today? What's top of mind?
So I'll take a note from what Rob said. Fraud teams, number one theme that I hear from our customers and credit union members is about capacity. It's a number game, as you said. So with the ease of transactions, you're having more payment channel types. You can do a transaction by NFT. You can do there's so many ways now you can transact.
For sure.
But the numbers are increasing, and the teams need help, and that's where CaseHub, our platform, really helps. It helps the investigator to understand where the transaction is coming from, how is it interconnected to a check, to an ACH, to a credit debit transaction. So what Rob said, it's using the right technology and the right set of humans at the right time. So CaseHub allows for that. Another quick theme that we've heard is about adaptability, and that's where AI comes in.
Gotcha.
The market is moving really fast. Fraudsters are always a step ahead. How can you be ahead of the curve? And that's where you use AI. But how intelligently you use automation is the key, right? You can't just apply a technology and, as you said, create enough friction, and you won't have any fraud. And AI can do that. It can stop everything. But nobody makes money. Nobody gets to make money or transact, and members get disappointed at the point of sale. So you want to intelligently handle that.
Well, I've heard that members actually like a little bit of friction. That gives them a little bit of comfort, knowing okay, there is something there that's protecting me or protecting my information. Not a whole lot of hoops to jump through, but maybe one or two hoops to jump through, and that's I've heard that's okay.
Even if the friction is seemingly transparent, communicating what's happening behind the scenes to increase the confidence of your members is also a legitimate and needed approach.
Completely. All right, Rob, coming back to you here, and Ankit mentioned Case Hub here. So you were a key decision maker in bringing Case Hub to Mountain America Credit Union in the fine state of Utah.
Yes.
Can you share why you guys chose Case Hub and how it helped address the very challenges what you just described to too many cases, not enough time, and evolving fraud?
Yeah, well,
so much going on.
Yeah, at Mountain America, we already were believers that that a case management system to manage fraud